Hi, we're here with Rebecca Smith, who's the founder of Complete Performance Coaching. And she's expecting her second child, and she figured out a way that works for her to continue creating content weekly. So she's going to share the tools, how she does it, how she comes up with the content, and how she grew her company, and it's growing without her with limited time. Let's go.
Yeah. All right.
Welcome.
Thank you. Here we go. So I'm the founder of Complete Performance Coaching, which is it's a company that has two wings to it. One of them is one-on-one coaching for young athletes. And then the other is this membership site that has become my priority to build so that I can, have this second kid and still have income coming in. So that's the Perform Happy community. And all of my content is geared toward memberships, but it also brings in one-on-one clients too, for people who want more one-on-one support. So I'll just dive in and talk about where I started with content. When I started, I knew I had to blog. That was like a thing everybody said, you have to blog. So I started writing blog posts, and they took forever. And then I was able to come up with this system to go from like one or two a month to weekly, long, thorough content in half the time. So I'll talk about how that happened. So early blog posts, 200 to 300 words, 1 to 2 hours to write and edit. I also hired somebody to write some for me. They were short. They were not very in-depth. They were expensive. And I was like, okay, this is not going to work, because as soon as I started to have clients, I did not have time to write every week anymore. Even when I tried to batch them, I would try to get, 3 or 4 done in a day, and it would take me all day. And so I was like, this is not going to work. And then I also wrote some really meaty long ones. I would sit down for like a day and write something that was really in depth, right to my niche. And that was what really started to get traction on Facebook and a lot of social shares. And then that's when my business really took off, was actually this one here, this Help My Gymnast is Afraid of Going Backwards. So I found a really specific niche and went in depth, and people loved it. And that was a year ago in January, so a year and a half ago. And I realized, okay, I have to write big blog posts. But then I started getting all these clients. So then my problem was even more compounded. So I listened to every single podcast on online marketing that first year. And I was hearing things like, you need to write 2,000 to 2,200 word blog posts. You need a new post every week, same day, same time. It needs to be consistent, pick a topic, and then keep talking about it so that you get authority. Post to social media every day, include images and video. And it's so overwhelming to think about doing that every week. But I just did the best I could. And then I was listening to, I think it was Amy Porterfield's podcast, and she recommended doing a 5-day Facebook Live challenge. So I committed. I said, okay, first of the year, new mindset. I'm going to do 5 days straight of Facebook Live. And the idea was to get comfortable with the live video, build an email list, create content. So I picked a topic, and my, Complete Performance Coaching, it was going to be the complete athlete training series. So I decided every day at 4:30, which is after school, which is when my market is available, I was going to show up and do 5 straight videos. And then I told my list, which was like 500 people. I was like, I'm going live all week. So then I was committed. So it was going to happen. Even if I got nervous, I couldn't chicken, because it was like, all right, this is happening. And then another thing that was recommended by that podcast episode was to create a toolkit or some kind of a content upgrade as an opt-in. And that this whole sequence of Facebook Live videos was about getting opt-ins. So I created a toolkit that they could download that would guide them through the week's worth of trainings. So this was my toolkit, just an example. It was pretty simple. It was stuff I already had, stuff that it wasn't, I just did this in Canva and had this thing that at the beginning of each live video, go download your toolkit so that you can follow along. Or if you want your own log to log your thoughts, it's in the toolkit. Or, check out I would always keep plugging the toolkit as I talked so that people would get on my list. And then I followed through. So I did the 10 to 15 minute video every single day, opt-ins to get the toolkit. And I think I added 65 people to my email list that week, which for me was huge. You know, having had a 500 person list, I was like, oh my gosh, this is working. And it got my feet wet with video. And so I realized, okay, this is not that hard. And then I also decided to have them transcribed and put on my blog. So now I had 5 new blog posts, which led into my next, basically my system that I do now today. So every week, Tuesday, 4:30, I show up on Facebook and I do a live video. I have a rehearsed, consistent intro. So I talk about who I am, what I do, what I offer, basically kind of what I did when I first got on here. Intro, I plug the membership site, just like I was plugging that toolkit. You know, join us in the Perform Happy community, performhappy.com if you want more information, blah, blah, blah. I'm basically doing a 20-minute commercial for my membership site with a lot of good info, you know, tips. So my members will ask me questions, and then I do a Q&A session where I try to give them some, you know, good actionable content so that it's valuable. Then I give them an opt-in. You know, so if it's a topic on confidence, I go download your free confidence visualization at completeperformancecoaching.com/confidence. I add that link in the Facebook page. It's in the show notes. And I find myself getting, you know, at least 10 to 15 opt-ins per video, you know, kind of right off the bat. And then I plug the membership site again and I sign off. Then next, where that goes, this is when I'm done. So then my content for the week is finished. And I'll tell you guys in a minute kind of where that then goes. So if you're thinking about doing this and you're like, what do I talk about for 10 to 15 minutes every single week? Here's kind of what I started with. I had a list of blog posts. So I knew I wanted to write all these blog posts, but I didn't have time. So there was like instant topic list. Then for me, it was kind of easy because I have this membership site and I have a private Facebook page. So I would just say, hey, this is what I do every Tuesday morning. I go, hey members, what are your successes? What are your struggles? And what do you want to ask me for Facebook Live? And I always get, you know, 2-3 questions that I can jump in and answer pretty quickly. They tend to be on the same topics, which allows me to keep building that topic authority. It's always about fear and anxiety. And I hit it from different angles. So I have now, you know, a year's worth of weekly articles on fear and anxiety in youth sports. So if somebody's Googling that, they will hopefully find me. Webinar, I also had a webinar running. And so I would have a section at the end where people would submit questions. So I would just take those questions and put them right into my Facebook Lives. And then also email questions I had gotten. So people would email me and reach out and say, oh, my daughter's struggling with this. I'd kind of just like throw that on my list of questions. And then when I got to a week when I didn't have a question, I'd go back to my list. So you start compiling now, and then you'll have plenty to talk about. Okay, so now here's my system. Top tips. This is something people are terrible at. I have 4 coaches on my team that also are supposed to do a monthly Facebook Live. They suck at the lighting, the sound, the background. It's like, come on, guys. So you want to be well lit. You want natural light if possible, but if your natural light is too harsh, you know, tone it down. You want to even be like kind of blinding yourself with light can be good. There are little clip-ons you can put on your cell phone that you can order on Amazon that are these halo lights that are for like beautiful selfies basically. And, you know, it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just get yourself well lit from the front. Make sure your sound is good. So I have it's like, you know, a mic, like a legit microphone. Then you can get USB mics. Again, it does not have to be expensive or fancy. Just get something that's made to record quality audio. And then your background. Don't have a bunch of junk in your background. Don't show your closet. My coaches are like in their bedroom with their closet in the background. Like, you guys, you can find a better background. Even if it's just a wall, you know, make it clean and make it crisp and make it professional. That's important. And then, you know, one big excuse I heard with other women, especially doing Facebook Live, is they're like, oh, I was having a bad hair day, so I skipped it. Well, okay, so do your hair and commit to doing it. You know, put your makeup on, do your hair, wear something nice, just know that morning. I know on Tuesdays I got to do my hair. Like I'm going live at 4:30. So I have to do it. I have to like get myself looking good just because I'm going live, even if it looks bad. And so just do yourself a favor and set yourself up there so you can feel good. And one thing I get a lot of questions about from people who are considering this is like, what if nobody shows up live? And it's actually not about people being on live. It's about the algorithm in Facebook. When you're live, it pushes your video out to your whole following way more than any post of an existing video. So it's really about getting something on Facebook that Facebook wants to show to more people for free. You don't have to pay for advertising, but they want to show this live video that happened to all the people who have liked your page. So don't worry about live. I talk to like, hey guys, and I know I'm talking to my podcast and I'm talking to people who watch the recording. So even if nobody is on live, I don't really worry about it. So don't worry about that. Okay. So weekly prep, this is what I do. Schedule it in like a client. So I block it in. Clients cannot schedule during that time. I'm not available from 4:30 to 5 o'clock on Tuesdays every single week. My audience knows to show up if they have live questions for me. And it's just like set in stone. I set a topic, I write bullet points, I rehearse the intro, and that's it. That takes me about 15 minutes, maybe 20. And then I move on to the content upgrade landing page. A lot of these are already done. I kind of recycle, like I have a confidence one, I have a fear one, I have an anxiety one. And this, I basically, I'll have like a visualization, a worksheet, various things that typically link into the topics that my people ask about. And I've created a simple landing page on Lead Pages, which collects email addresses and sends them to ConvertKit. So that, it takes a little bit of time on the prep on the front end. And if you're doing something different each week, you want to allow that. But I don't go overboard with getting complicated with these. I just always like to have something, if you want more on confidence, download this free visualization here. And then I have kind of like 5 or 6 I go to. So you want to have that set, check your lighting, sound, and backdrop. And then again, just do it. It's going to be so easy to want to back out. And I think I've backed out twice in a year. And one was because I was moving and my backdrop looked, haphazard. So I wanted to make sure, and I was tired. But for the most part, like I show up when I just do it. Okay, so here's what happens with my content. I record the video. So this is, 30 minutes of time between prep and recording. And I record high quality audio because for me, it also goes to a podcast. I upload my audio files into Dropbox and then I'm done. And then I move on with my life and the rest just happens behind the scenes. My VA, she actually goes onto Facebook. This was something I was doing before. I was downloading the video, putting it in her Dropbox file, and then she was taking over. And I was like, you know what, you just download the video. So she downloads the video off Facebook. She uploads it to rev.com to get transcribed. She uploads it to YouTube. She then edits the transcription when it comes back from Rev. She uploads it to my blog with the embedded video from YouTube. She schedules the blog post. She creates the images and the thumbnails for YouTube and for Pinterest and for social media. She schedules all the social media posts to the link to the blog post in Hootsuite. She writes my email newsletter, schedules the broadcast, and I have a whole week of content everywhere. And then on the other end, I have my podcast editor who takes the audio files, edits them, cleans them up, kind of takes the live out of it and makes it a little more evergreen. So if I go, it's January, like he'll cut that out to try to make it as evergreen as possible. Add show notes, upload it to Libsyn, which is my podcast host, schedules the broadcast, and then that goes out. So I have come up with a topic, recorded a video, lighting, background, hairdo, and then I'm done. And the rest just goes on without me. So here are the tools that we use. I found my VA on Upwork. She is $15 an hour. She's great. She's not, she's worth $15 an hour. She's not the best writer. She's not the best, but she's good enough at all these things and she's affordable. So, and she has my system down. So we're kind of like, we're good. My podcast editor, I found just through word of mouth, and he charges $40 an episode. and does a good job. My microphone, I don't know what brand or anything, but I have a microphone. It's a cell phone camera. It's nothing fancy in the camera department. It's literally my iPhone, because that's what Facebook likes for you to use. I also have a little tripod, just a little like thing I found on Amazon that holds my phone in place so that it's not shaky. And one of my biggest pet peeves watching live video is people holding their cell phone, because it's like you get seasick watching it. So just get a little tripod so that your phone is steady. Rev.com transcribes my blog post, or turns the live video into blog posts for $1 a minute. And then I have, my blog is on WordPress. Hootsuite is, and it doesn't have to be Hootsuite, but something that you can pre-schedule all your social media posts makes life a lot easier. Lead Pages that's where I do that opt-in landing page. My email marketing is through ConvertKit, and then all of our graphic design is on Canva. And so that's something I used to do myself until I handed that over to my VA too. Actually, all of this stuff I did myself in the beginning, and then I passed it over to her. And so here's a breakdown of the time. The red is me. So prep and topic search, 30 minutes. Recording 15 to 20. If I'm creating the landing page, it's 0 if I already have one created, 15 minutes if I have to throw a new one together. Obviously, I can have her do that, but it's so fast. I typically will just throw one together last minute. And then the gray that's my VA. So she submits the video to Rev, 5 minutes, Canva, 10 to 15, coming up with a design image and thumbnail. She pretty much has the same little template for each one, just changes the picture, changes the words. Upload it to YouTube, upload it to blog. Now this is probably the most time consuming, is going through and making sure you've got your headlines and it's kind of reader friendly. You're getting rid of all your ums and uhs and things that don't read well. And then scheduling the social media posts, writing the email newsletter, and scheduling. I used to do this myself, but there were weeks when I wouldn't have time and I'd forget and the email didn't go out. So I was like, you do it. Email me when it's done. I'll edit it. And then I still have my touch on it before it goes out to my whole list. And then the podcast editor goes through the files, writes the show notes, uploads to Libsyn. So here's the total. My time, 30 to 60 minutes a week. Transcription, $15. VA, 20 to 30. Podcast editor, 40. Total time spent. So if you were going to do this all yourself, it's probably about 3 hours a week. If you're going to send it off to other people, then obviously it saves you a couple hours. And then this is my total cost. It's about $75 a week to have this all done. And this is my end result. I have a Facebook Live video, YouTube video with a custom thumbnail and notes, post to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, also Pinterest. I forgot to write down. Blog post with video embedded and transcription, podcast episode, show notes, intro, outro, email newsletter, and therefore clients. So it's a pretty good little system for somebody who just does not have time for weekly content. And that's that. So now I can open it up for questions if you guys have any.
Amazing. Thank you. Does anybody have a question before I jump in? I think Shawnee and David.
No, I'm good.
So on the YouTube, do you make sure that your SEO, it's SEO optimized, the description?
It should be, and that's part of my VA's role, is making sure that the blog post on my WordPress site and on YouTube are optimized for search. So she, has a certain list of tags and descriptions that she puts in every single video and every single post, and then kind of, optimizes based on topic too.
So then you just hand it off and trust her to do that.
Yeah.
So find a VA that knows SEO a bit.
That definitely. Yeah. If you can find a VA who knows SEO and can write and can edit and can do graphic design, or you can have multiple people doing it, but it's kind of nice just to know that like she handles that whole content situation.
And then you said that you basically come up with a topic, but do you take on live questions?
I do. I don't get a whole lot of live questions just because I let my audience know in advance to send me questions. And so they tend to, anybody who's got one will send me a question, and then sometimes they'll give follow-up information. So I'll be answering the question, the person who asked it shows up live, and they'll clarify. oh yes, my son's 12 and he plays tennis, and or oh, we tried that and it didn't work, or those sorts of things. They'll kind of chime in so I can have a little interaction with them, which is really nice actually. But for the most part, it's just me talking and people kind of like thumbs upping it as we go.
And do you think that people should avoid live questions in the beginning or just take them on?
I would say know your strengths. If you know that you're pretty good at fielding live questions and you know what to expect, then you can. Like, I know that my audience always asks me the same stuff. So I have the answers ready. I trust myself to be pretty good live under pressure. So I'm cool with the questions. If you are not as confident, I would say you can easily say, hey, we don't have time to get to that one today, but we'll try and get to it next week. And also if they're not members, I don't prioritize them. So I might say, great question, I'll pass this off to one of my other coaches to tackle later in the week, or something like that. If you just do not know the right answer, feel free to run out of time. I would say.
So you're talking, you redirect, got it.
Yeah.
And I know that Shawnee and David are just building their community and they're doing their podcast. How did you start off building your Facebook community?
So I just created a business page and started putting my blog post there. And then I shared it out to all my friends, asking them to like it. And from there, it was basically, once I started the Facebook ads, that my Facebook community grew naturally, because I wrote good blog posts and then pushed those out through Facebook ads. And then people started sharing those. And through that, people liked the Facebook page because they wanted to hear more. And I wrote a couple of other articles. It was, once you demonstrate value, that when they show up and check out your business page often, they're going to get good quality blog posts shared to their feed, then they tend to like it and they tend to, stick around. So now I have like 7,000 people following my Facebook page. I think when they opt into my list, I also say, follow me on Instagram. Here I am on Facebook. Here are all the different ways that you can hang out with Complete Performance Coaching. So I give them that option to like the Facebook page there. But for the most part, it all just came from ads.
And you did a page instead of a group?
Yes, I have both. So I have the business page, and that's where I post all my content. That's where I do my Facebook Lives. And then I also have a private group for parents of my current clients and members, paying members.
And that's the private group is all paid, right?
Yeah, that's all paid. So I don't manage a free private group at this point. I just do the page where I share content, and then the only group I manage is the Facebook group. And then I also have a membership site that I also manage.
And now looking back, what would you recommend? Do you think they should just do a group, or do you think they should start building up their Facebook page? And especially since all the algorithm, everything changed. Yeah.
So I've heard different things. A lot of people like actually just encouraging people into a free Facebook group, because it's a great way to sell directly to your audience. It's almost it's like having another email list. I didn't do that from the beginning, and I don't have the bandwidth to manage it. So I just haven't done that, but that's something that you could definitely consider if you're just getting started. Just invite everybody to join your private group. But I've just done it with the business page. And I know you can create a more intimate setting, but I just didn't do that.
Yeah, it is a lot to you would have to have a moderator or something.
Yeah, exactly.
More work.
Yeah.
Trying to think, what else did I have on here? Do you guys have any other questions?
No, this is Shawnee. Hi. That's really clarifying, because I was stuck on that as far as what to do with my Facebook business page and what to offer to the paid members. So that's really, really useful. I'll be able to implement that right away.
Great. And then I know that David is podcasting. David, do you find this way better for your content to move? You're on mute, by the way. He's doing it for small businesses, brick and mortar. I don't know if you realize he's on mute. And why did you choose Pinterest? Because Pinterest is a very filled with images, right? And I can see with your audience, especially since you're a coaching gymnast, that mothers would be there. But coming up with those images so they can be pinned must be hard.
That's something that my VA does too, is just creates a separate image. So the image she creates is always Pinterest ready for the blog. So that way it can go on there. And the reason I do Pinterest is same reason I target Facebook, is because my primary market is, 40 to 50-year-old women who have adolescent kids, and those women are on Facebook. That's, you look at your target market and where are you going to find them? If it was business guys in their 30s, it would not probably be Pinterest, right? But but for my market, they're on there, remodeling their houses and looking for how to clean their shower, and also trying to help their gymnast get over their fears. I pick social media based on where my people hang out, and Pinterest is one of them for them.
And do you do like an image with a quote, or I'm sure you have something that's like already formatted?
It's an image with the topic on it. And, it'll be like 5 ways to overcome sports anxiety, or, what do you do if your coach is being mean, or, it kind of just like gives the topic and a picture that illustrates kind of the market. So it'd be like an 11-year-old baseball player, or somebody, so they could see, okay, this is, I have an 11-year-old baseball player whose coach is mean. I should click on that. And then there's just a bunch of them that go out.
And how many words is 20 minutes?
It's about 2,000 to 2,500. So it's that ideal range of, it's a pretty meaty blog post.
And that's how you got around it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any other questions? Rebecca, thank you so much. It was like you covered everything from like how you started the journey, the tools, and then the system is just for people who don't have time to write, or just like how you said that you like sat down and took you one whole day to do 2,000 when you first started, and now it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah,
right.
Thank you. I know I dropped in late, but I definitely got value out of what I was able to get. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right. Thanks. Ciao.
Bye.